start yet?
We're starting right now.
It started already?
There it is. It happened.
Is this live now?
I think we're live.
It is now, and I'm using all of this. All right, welcome to the podcast. This is The Chunk, and this is the podcast. You are listening to it, and we appreciate it. Stick around for some tomfoolery. It will be happening right now.
Woo!
There it is. That's the tomfoolery. All right, now we're going to hit the best of the week in sports, entertainment, and gaming, and it's all coming at you in one large chunk serving. On the show today, or by show, I say show like we're like a syndicated program, but it's a podcast. We've got the one and only Ryan Lynch, the two and only Niki Juste, the three and only Regi Bastien.
What up?
And all the way from New Jersey, sunny New Jersey, we got JJ Mitchell in the building. All right, I'm excited. This is the biggest. This is probably the biggest podcast as far as like people on that we've had in quite a while. Not since I believe the Avengers podcast. I think we might have had this many people
at least.
So I'm glad you guys could carve out some time, and we're gonna get over some hot topics in sports. We're gonna start with sports, and we're gonna start with the biggest deal of the week, which, by the way, it may have dragged on a little too long because once it happened, I couldn't have cared any less. But Kawhi Leonard, San Antonio Spurs trade Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors for DeMar DeRozan and some other pieces. But it was more there, but that was essentially Kawhi for DeRozan. And I don't know. Nobody thought he would wind up in Toronto once this all started. And there he is. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this. Does anybody have any feelings on this?
I got a lot of feelings about it, to be honest. Am I supposed to go or what?
Yeah, I mean that's usually
your feelings.
I would
Should
share.
I share?
Yeah, this isn't a community.
I think it's kind of stupid for the Raptors to trade their best offensive weapon for Kawhi. Like they're barely better now than they were before they had him, and they're not better than the Celtics. They're probably not better than the 76ers, and they're definitely not better than the freaking Warriors. So what's the point of having Kawhi for a year? Give up DeRozan. You're gonna lose in the playoffs. And then you're gonna suck the next year. Like, you gave up all that stuff for 1 year of a dude that doesn't want to be there. Like, I think it's just so stupid.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I don't really think this was a great move for Toronto to make. Especially, it's a horrible look to trade away probably your franchise most notable player. I mean, I know that they had Vince Carter back in the day, but that was short lived. They had Chris Bosh. He had some great years there, but he since went away and got championships somewhere else. Yeah, T-Mac was there too. Again, the same stint basically as Vince Carter. Not really much to be said. DeRozan was a lifelong Toronto Raptor, and he embraced the city. I don't know. It just looks bad on their end to trade him away with years on his contract, and he also took a pay cut to give them more flexibility to bring in other free agents. They did that. Like that was a thing that happened, and they basically trade him away for 1 year of Kawhi Leonard. And they're going to, I guess, just attempt to try to re-sign him. I don't think for a guy who is, I guess, claiming to want to play in Los Angeles that he's going to re-up in Toronto about as far away from L.A. as you possibly can get.
For real, it's so stupid. There's no reason he's gonna re-sign in Toronto and Canada. All they have there is Drake. That's it.
Which,
But
by
the
the
thing
way,
is, racking up talent like crazy. They could be trying to use Kawhi as like bargaining chip later to try to get something from the Lakers.
What?
No, I don't think so. Kawhi only has 1 year. They can trade him before the trade deadline, but what is that? I mean,
finagle something. Kawhi's not going to stay. I'm sure they're all aware of that. They're going to probably use him.
But they have no.
They're going to trade him.
It's going to be in the same situation, except for worse that San Antonio was in, where it's going to be at the end of the season, and they're just going to be like, who wants to get a half of a season of Kawhi Leonard, and so he can almost assuredly walk away.
Yeah, by the time it's the trade deadline, they're not going to get as good of a player as DeMar DeRozan because people know he's leaving, and they know he's that they can give him a crappy offer, and they'd have to take it because they're not going to keep him. So they're not going to get.
Did DeRozan had a lot of money attached to his contract?
I think it was like in the 20, but he's got a few more years on his contract. That's what, to me, San Antonio got more than I expected they would. I didn't think they would even be able to get a player of DeRozan's caliber, and I think they got a protected first-round pick from Toronto just to give away a guy who didn't even want to play there and didn't play there basically all last season.
But I think it's a bad trade for the Spurs, too, because they gave up Green. And he's good.
He is good, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really see that. That's not going to hurt them that much. They can always find another 3-and-D guy. That's not.
I don't know, dude. Green's good, and he's like a good defensive guy. He's a big part of the system. He would have won the Finals MVP if they would have beat LeBron that one year when Ray Allen hit that shot. Green was like their best player.
Yeah, I mean, would he have really won Finals MVP? A fan vote? I mean,
probably he had like the most threes in the NBA Finals and the record for most threes in the Finals.
He's crushed it
So
under Popovich. He's been very good, and I just don't see him doing that well in Toronto. I mean, I'm sure, and plus he's getting up there in age, and whatever. I don't know. I don't really think that's a good thing for. To me, the Spurs got the best package out of this because they got a really good player under contract for at least a few more years and a little more cap flexibility as well. So I think they are coming out pretty decent in this trade. But I did see a report. This is a report from Kawhi's camp, or I don't know. He's got a camp. He doesn't speak for himself. But I guess Kawhi is warming up to playing for the Raptors. Look at that. So he got traded to the Raptors, and he's, quote, warming up to the idea of playing for the Raptors.
Because he has to. He doesn't have an option.
That's what I'm saying. That's like the equivalent of saying, man, I'm warming up to go to work tomorrow. I'm warming up to go to my job tomorrow that I am employed at. You know what I mean? That you got to go, dude. What are you doing?
Well, he's got to warm up. He's going to Canada, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey.
Is that a button you can press off to hit that noise?
Yeah, I could. I'll put it in post.
I think he has the potential to, do what he wants there because he is that, quote unquote superstar that doesn't like the spotlight. And what better place to go and be a superstar but not have the spotlight rather than, Toronto.
He wants a spotlight, I thought. He wants to be in LA. He wants to be in the Lakers.
He doesn't speak, though, Reggie. He doesn't speak after games, no matter how well he plays, no matter what award he wins. He gives the shortest answer and gets out. So he doesn't want that spotlight.
He marchands it.
He says his camp says he wants to go to the Lakers.
His camp wants to go to the Lakers so he can play under LeBron, so he doesn't ever have to have the spotlight.
Exactly.
He doesn't want to be the guy.
Why did I see a report that said after LeBron made it to LA that Kawhi was less interested in going to LA for some reason?
Because people always spread crazy rumors like that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
Probably. Anyway, that was weird. But Kawhi Leonard now in Toronto. It's going to look real weird seeing him and playing there. And by the way, the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference is insane right now. All the good teams in the East right now are coming from the Atlantic Division. It's going to be
and the Knicks too. The Knicks are probably the top three.
Okay, I don't know about that.
No,
I'm not gonna give him that.
Melo's gonna come back. We got Porzingis coming back at the All-Star break.
Stop. Speaking of Carmelo, that happened a little bit earlier, yesterday, I guess. But Carmelo Anthony was traded and waived. But he hasn't been waived yet, but he has officially been traded to the Atlanta Hawks. They unload Dennis Schroeder, which, by the way, they got rid of Schroeder, but dude's under a decent. Well, he's getting paid quite a bit of money, but he's a good player. He was like 20. What did he average? Like 20-6, 20-7.
He's good, man. He's real good.
He's a good player, but for somebody to basically unload for just cap relief, I know that they're trying to tank at this point, but you got to be a pretty bad player to be that young on a team that is trying to get younger. You know what I mean? They're trying to grow young players, and they just basically trade you for the carcass of Carmelo Anthony, who they inevitably are going to waive. That's got to be.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know. That's weird.
I guess they trade Schroeder, and they're willing to pay Melo $28 million just to get rid of Schroeder.
Well, it's going to clear a lot off their cap space, and I guess word is that the GM there and just the front office wasn't really a big fan of Schroeder. And to be honest, he's kind of rough around the edges. I don't know. From what I've seen.
Isn't he like a douche or something?
Yeah, I think that would sum it up nicely in the most quaint way possible. Yeah, about a douche. I think that's it.
So where do we think Melo lands? Do you think he goes back to the Knicks?
Oh gosh, no. If he did, what would be the reason? I mean, other than he just loves him and wants to be this. I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's going to go to a contender. Everything I'm hearing right now is the Rockets are just going to sign him for probably pretty close to the vet minimum because he's already going to get his paycheck for this season from the Atlanta Hawks for nothing. Anybody?
Yeah, I think you're right. I would say he's going to Rockets or the Warriors.
Oh my God!
Most likely the Rockets.
Go to the Warriors, and I can't take it anymore, man. I don't want to see it.
Hey man, everyone wants a ring.
But everyone says Melo sucks, but if he goes to Warriors, then everyone's going to be outraged.
Well, yeah, because the role he will play is dude off the bench coming in dropping buckets on scrubs, which is really at this point in his career, that's what he needs to be doing. To be honest, I don't think he's he's got a little left in the tank to be a starter, but he's not got enough to be the number 1 or 2, maybe even the 3rd best player on a team. I don't know. But
he's a depth guy, huh?
Credit.
Well, I don't know. I think if he's coming on, for $27 or $28 million a year, I don't want him on my team. But if it's the vet minimum all day, I'd take him on my team for sure. So,
but he's already said he doesn't want to come off the bench.
Well,
Allegedly.
he can come off the free agency, or he won't come off the free agency. Then he's just going to sit there. No, if he thinks he's going to sign with his team.
There's nobody desperate enough to pay for him.
No, I don't know what happened in OKC last year, but he was ineffective. Like just
because Westbrook was the reason. That's what happened.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not all they were asking him to do was basically just drop buckets, and when he got the ball, he didn't exactly drop buckets. I don't know.
It's because he shot like a career high in 3-pointers, but like that's not his only game. Like he's an ISO guy, holds the ball, tries to like beat people off the dribble, and when they had him just shoot threes, it's not going to be as effective as if he's like the focal point of the offense.
Yeah, but at this point in his career,
he's too fat to take people off the dribble now.
He is, but he doesn't think so. He thinks he's still 29-year-old, 27-year-old Melo.
Well, okay.
In OKC, it was pretty much Westbrook was doing whatever the hell he wanted, but he was padding the stats, trying to get like assists. Like you saw him cuss out his own teammates every time they didn't shoot as soon as he passed the ball. So like he wasn't expected to handle the ball, just catch it and shoot. That's what Westbrook wanted.
Yeah, it's not Melo's game.
Exactly, that's not his game. That's not his fault. So his numbers definitely dipped because he was.
Yeah, but that's going to be.
Yeah, but I don't even.
But he's not good enough to. He's not good enough to play his game anymore. Anyways,
he still has a sick turnaround jumper from the mid range.
I mean, I guess.
I know, but how effective is that in today's NBA though? Like how many? I need this, and you know what I need? I don't need a 3-point shooter. I don't need anybody who can bang inside. I need a dude who can hit a really tough fadeaway mid range.
Yeah, he has the arsenal to work with. I'm just saying he's not just a catch and shoot guy. He's not Kyle Korver.
I'm saying he needs to morph his career into that to have the longevity of a Kyle Korver. Like if he can't be that
shoot.
guy, yeah,
he can. That's his thing.
Yeah,
he can't play D.
Yeah, that too. Kyle Korver can play some D. Now, if we're making comparisons, Kyle Korver's a legend.
I take Korver's defense over Melo's defense for sure.
Nah, I don't.
I'm not gonna fight you there.
It's sad. I really don't disagree. That's how sad it's become for Carmelo Anthony at this point in his career. Which I mean, he got a bad rap in OKC, but he's going to get a fresh start. Obviously, he's going to be a free agent. He can pick and choose where he wants to go. Wherever he winds up going, I would imagine after this, it's got to be a humbling experience for him. And he can come to a really good team that just says, dude, we don't want much from you. And when we want you to score, just do it. That's it. You know what I mean? Just keep it simple. Put the ball in the hoop. I think.
Yeah, but if he goes to Houston, he's going to start.
Yeah, I agree. I think he will. Plus, they got rid of Trevor Ariza. He just signed for the Suns. I don't know why the Suns signed a 48-year-old player, but they did.
Yeah, he's going to start in Houston because they don't have enough depth to have him come off the bench.
It would be more effective for him to come off the bench and kind of run the second unit, though, like how they had Eric Gordon do it this year.
Yeah, but who are they going to start? PJ Tucker? Well, I mean, PJ Tucker's going to start, but they don't have anyone else to start besides Melo at the 3.
Start Ryan Anderson at the 4, PJ Tucker at the 3.
Ryan Anderson couldn't even get any playing time versus the Warriors because he can't play defense.
Yeah, I understand that, but
Melo.
they don't care.
Oh, I don't know.
I'd rather have Melo on the second unit than Ryan Anderson.
Maybe.
Melo obviously would be most effective on the second unit coming off the bench, but it's just a matter of trying to convince him that's what's best for him because in his head he's the best player on the team. So I don't know. We'll see how that works out. Moving on, we can get away from some basketball talk, but I will say the MLB All-Star. I guess it's like a week. I don't know. I guess that just happened. Lynch, you got anything from that? Was there any exciting things that happened?
I mean, we had the not hometown hero, but the player that plays in the host city, dominated the home run derby, ended up winning in dramatic fashion with some controversy with his dad pitching to him a little too quickly and whatnot.
He cheated. He definitely cheated.
But then the game itself, as exciting as it was a little overshadowed by some Twitter controversy of Josh Hader, and someone decided to go into Josh Hader's Twitter and find tweets from, when he was 17, and they were some quite insensitive tweets.
I have not heard about this. I've since looked it up and read a few things.
Insensitive.
Yes, I guess that would be. I mean, I'd say borderline racist would be.
They were super racist.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
Okay.
borderline.
Okay. All right. You're right.
They're very racist.
Does anyone have an example?
Reminder to try to keep it PG-13 here. There's kids.
At one point he drops the N-word and then
With like a hard ER too.
yeah.
Oh my dude!
And
It's not even like a song lyric, like a hard ER.
Wow.
Oh, no.
some of the tweets that were referenced were from I believe semi-pro, so that got caught out of translation, but at the same time you pay your agent to have these people that run PR for you.
Yeah.
Why are they not
really?
doing their job?
How do you not go back and delete all those tweets?
Yeah.
Yeah, he tweets stuff like "I hate gay people" and
No
other stuff.
way.
Yeah, when he was
That's-
like 17.
That's
Dude.
rough.
Well, here's the
That's
thing.
really
Here's the
bad.
thing. If you realize your career is going to be that good and you're going to make it professionally, it would make sense for you to literally right before you get drafted, make a new Twitter, dude. Just obliterate everything that you've already done, get rid of it, and just start fresh. That's to me, that's the best way to go
Well,
because
that's what I did before I joined the Chunks.
Yes,
You're not gonna
obviously.
have someone's seen it.
I
And they're
should
gonna
do
be like,
that.
"Hey, I remember this one time that he tweeted this." They probably have a screenshot. It's just it's over. You put it out there.
And he also tweeted "white power" LOL
Oh,
with like a
no.
white fist.
You can't.
Dude,
defend
Okay,
He hit
come
like
on.
a triumvirate.
Oh my God.
White power, the hard
Unapologetically
N with the ER at the end, and then I hate gay people. What the heck is this guy doing?
That-
And he put two. He's like, "Whoever I marry, she better get ready for this big," something like that.
Oh my God. Okay. All
All
right.
right, here on,
He
the
went hard.
here on the Chunk, we're much more inclusive. We're all about that diversity.
Yes.
And,
Nobody has a haircut like
clearly.
this hater guy.
But the thing is, if you're 17 years old, you're not like 10 or 11. Like, you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
Haters a
tweeting that
hater.
stuff when you're 17.
Hater's a hater, man. Hater's a
Ooh.
hater.
You're
Hate-
pretty much like out of high school. Like, what are you doing tweeting that kind of stuff? Unless you really believe it.
We should make a T-shirt
Yeah.
with him and
Definitely
his hair outline, and it just says "Haters gonna hate," and that's the T-shirt.
Yeah, that should be the first chunk shirt.
Yeah.
I want it. I want it.
Do you
Give
really?
me-
Do you really want to wear
There
it?
you go. Trademark.
Oh,
Trademark.
anyway, no,
Can't take it.
what a scrub.
Let's talk the MLB All-Star game real quick. My boy Jacob deGrom pitched the third inning.
Ooh,
He gave up a home run to Mike Trout.
way to go.
Best player in the game.
Best hitter probably in the major leagues. Though I will give deGrom props. He has the best ERA in the entire league, 1.68, and he has 150 strikeouts basically.
Oh wow, we should give the guy a soft golf clap.
Yeah,
Those
soft
stats.
golf clap. If only the rest of the Mets were even half decent, we might be able to go to the playoffs or something like that.
Don't hold your breath.
Definitely not.
I don't know much about baseball, but I know the bad teams and I know the good teams, and that's it. And I apologize to you.
Hey, we were in the World Series like 3 years ago, and it feels so far away.
Ugh.
That suck.
Jeez.
They
Okay,
do.
let's move on before we start
They
piling
do.
on. One more thing before we get out of the sports and transition to entertainment. Fantasy football season is coming up, and currently we're trying to figure out how we're going to place this chunk fantasy football league. But because we've had a league in years past, it's been going on almost 8 years, I believe. And,
That's so crazy.
yeah, and we're transitioning it to the chunk fantasy football league, so that's going to be fun. And obviously we will. We're planning on.
RIP to Super Duper.
Yes, I know, the super duper, rest in peace. But we probably will be doing the live stream of the draft, and we're doing it all in person. So we're going to get together and figure that out. So that'll be coming in the near future, probably next month. We got to figure this out because next month,
That's so crazy. Can't wait.
yeah,
Time to
preseason
get some
starting.
plane tickets.
Yeah.
Bart Scott said it. Can't wait.
All right, and we're moving on to the entertainment category, where first up, I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I believe San Diego Comic-Con is happening currently, and what we've seen that's been released is the Titans trailer. We actually shared it on our Facebook page. You can check it, the Chunk Pod on Facebook. Search for it, like it, follow it, live it, breathe it. smell it. I don't know. We'll try to figure it out. But give us a follow there, and you'll see the DC Comics Titans trailer.
Check it.
Which has to be a joke.
How long ago was that time we went to Comic-Con in Tampa?
We're going to actually be going not next week, 2 weeks? 2 weeks. It's like the 3rd. Yeah, I believe we will be going up there, and hopefully by then we'll be representing the Chunk with our Chunk gear. Chunk shirts. So we're going to walk around.
For the Chunkers.
Yes. So we're going to walk around and act like we belong with our staff shirts.
Is there any way I can get a Josh Hader's Gonna Hate Chunk shirt to go?
We'll see what we can do. We'll see if we can whip something up for you. But I don't know why you'd want to wear that man's face on your shirt. Anyway,
funny and ironic.
This Titans trailer, I've watched it. It's a live action Teen Titans, and I really had no idea they were going this way. All I had seen up to the point was like promo images where I was like, man, that Robin looks pretty gritty. And then I watched this trailer, and then I was like, man, looked pretty crappy. Yeah, I don't know what to think, man.
I watched it, and I was like, wait, is this real? No, this can't be real.
I think it's fake. It looks fake, right?
It has to be
It's
fake.
real because I've seen all those actors, like, over the last few months or whatever, like, oh my God, they're doing this and that. So that is what they're going to roll with. I pray to God that it's not, like, tied to anything.
Suicide Squad.
No,
I don't know.
it cannot be. It just better not be canon with DC, like the cinematic universe. I swear to God, I wouldn't be able to handle it because
One thing that concerns me is I didn't see Cyborg, and Cyborg we've seen in Justice League. So if they're just gonna say, "Oh no, Cyborg's off on a mission with the big guys," I'm gonna vomit everywhere.
I know it's so bad.
The Teen Titans team has changed hands like many times, but I like watching that trailer. All I can think is, man, that Teen Titans Go to the Movie looks a lot better than this.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually moderately excited for the Teen Titans animated movie in theaters. I hadn't really watched a lot of the actual cartoon, but compared to this, my goodness, I don't understand. To me, Teen Titans is supposed to be not necessarily a more lighthearted, but deals with issues, but also in sometimes crack a joke every once in a while. This just looks like death and destruction, the darkest possible outcomes, and almost looks like a horror movie that a YouTuber made. It's so weird.
And the casting choices are so weird.
Yeah.
The Starfire and Raven, and I just...
Who are those? Are they even famous?
They're nobody.
They're like semi-famous?
It reminds me, you know what it reminds me of is the Fantastic Four movie, the third remake where they had like nobody actors playing the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and I don't even necessarily dislike the fact that they're not notable actors. I don't think that's a big deal to me at all. I just dislike the way that they're portraying everything. Everything I saw, I was like, oh no, not one thing I saw was like, oh, that's cool. The
effects were terrible. It's like they gave like a kid, like the 6-year-old kid, a new little FX app and said, "Here, see what happens. Make some glowy eyes. Make some people's hair look all neon. Change the hue in their skin." It was trash.
It looked like a made from iPhone movie.
To be fair, though, there is some time before it's released, so maybe this is like I'm hoping early production.
Don't you dare use that. Don't you use that. Oh, there's time to clean it up. No, there is not. That what you saw is what you're gonna get.
I know. Obviously, you can't change their concept. I mean,
they've struck out pretty much every single movie except for Wonder Woman. So
yeah, I
those like random scenes, like too much blood and gore. Like there's someone just sliced like a kneecap, whatever. Like they're just throwing like blood and gore just for shock value for no reason. And then he's like, then Robin of all people walks around and says, "Theo F Batman," snaps the guy's neck by walking on it. Like what the hell am I watching?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't know why they went in this direction, and I was shocked. When I watched it, I was like, I had no idea that this was what they wanted to do, and I hate it. I don't know. It just makes me sad.
And it looks dumb. That's Dick.
And like, what bad guy are they gonna go with? I mean, Slade is already taken for Teen Titans Go. Like, are they going to use Raven's father? Or is it going to be just an origin story type of movie, or what?
Robin snapped, and this is supposed to be Dick Grayson because the whole tragic family died, whatever. So that's Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
The only Robin who have snapped even close to that would be Jason Todd. Spoiler alert: he turns into Red Hood, and he actually had a problem with actually like really injuring criminals and actually killing some.
Yeah.
He's the only Robin that would get away with this kind of thing. But Dick Grayson just snapping people's necks. F Batman, I'm a rebel. Like, what are you doing? That is not.
I know.
No, whatever.
I was looking
He's
for
reverent. He's reverent towards Batman's philosophy on death.
Yeah, I was looking for like some just moderate like angst, you know what I mean? Like little rebelling. This is like full blown like I like the total opposite of what I expected. It makes me sad. But I don't.
That character would be good for a Red Hood movie if that's what they want to do it. That is not what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with this, but it is under their DC Universe streaming package, and you can watch it for a mere $7.99 a month subscription. Who will be subscribing to this?
Well, free.
What does that even mean? DC package?
To me for free, and I'll just give it away to somebody else. I still wouldn't watch it.
Everybody,
I wouldn't watch that.
it's what everybody's doing now. Disney will be doing it very soon if they're not doing it already. But DC's basically doing their own thing where they're taking their content, pulling it off of everything else, and saying, if you want our stuff, you can pay $7.99 a month. Which sadly I think that's the direction of everyone. Netflix was doing great by just bringing everything together, and that's where you could go to get it. Now everybody's got this idea that like, oh, you're not going to use cable anymore. Okay, well, we're going to make our own streaming service. So it's essentially going to return back to that, like, you pay this for this channel, this for this channel, and it's all going to fail again. But I don't know. It's stupid.
That's so dumb.
Like that. I think they're trying to acquire like something like Hulu, whatever. And they're going to pull all their everything off of Netflix and just do it under their own paid service. And as soon as that happens.
Yeah, it's foolish. And this is not, if this was their big draw, it's going to flop. And they're not, I mean, let's be real. No one, I wouldn't say no one, because there's diehard DC fans out there that are like, I need to see this. If I'm not the first one to see this, then I'm going to die. But I don't know.
They're only going to see it because they're DC fans. But most DC fans are already livid.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I agree. And I consider myself a bigger DC fan than I am Marvel. But in recent years, they've been doing nothing but just sadly disappointing me. And
wait, so why does DC suck? Does anyone know like why they're getting shit down by Marvel?
Because their characters aren't relatable.
Yeah, that's true.
Their characters they have godlike powers, and they don't have any people problems.
Wait, what is the story again?
What about like Batman though? He's not.
Except for Batman. Batman's the most relatable superhero, which is really fucking sad.
Is that why he's like the most successful like superhero on DC side?
I mean, think about Spider-Man. I mean, he's a everyman. Everybody knows what it's like to grow up in
in New York.
I've never seen
working class. Having to deal with paycheck to paycheck, and having to balance relationships with your job and other responsibilities.
It's naturally just been darker no matter what. Cartoon or not, it's just their storytelling is much darker.
So you're telling me you've never had to deal with the trials and tribulations of growing up underwater and with a no, and talking to fish and animals? What?
Hey man, managing your dreads underwater is really challenging.
And I guess DC's characters, like, I guess they're not many people know DC besides Superman and Batman. That's like what most people know. Like Marvel has like X-Men, everyone knows. Everyone knows. Everyone knows a lot of Spider-Man, a lot of the Avengers. Like everyone knows those guys, even if you don't know comic books. If you don't, DC is just like Spider-Man, Batman. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, Marvel.
And I would say that Marvel has better bad guys too. I mean, Magneto, you got
Magneto's a badass.
Thanos, you got friggin' all the Spider-Man rogues gallery.
Everyone knows like Green Goblin. Oh yeah,
Green Goblin.
Yeah, but okay, wait a minute though. DC's got the Joker again.
The Joker. I have to say, the Joker is one of the coolest villains in the comic universe. But outside of Batman and the Joker, the DC characters just aren't relatable, and they don't translate well to live action. That's what I think their biggest failing is.
I will say
just drop the facts.
No, you're right. I don't disagree with you. I will say the Flash could probably be in that category as well. Of some, not everybody's a forensic scientist for the police department, but I mean, he's probably the most lenient and playful of at least he shows a human side. I don't know.
Right, yeah, he's the comedy relief.
Which is what they need more of, to be honest. And honestly, what they did with the Flash in Justice League, he's cool and he's all right, but they kind of made him like dopey. Like I don't know what's happening. I'm not aware of everything around me. Like I don't know. It was weird. But let's see what else they can do. They probably butcher some other stuff.
Yeah, he wasn't as good as Quicksilver in the X-Men movie. That was like the first one anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quicksilver is dope.
That was dope.
I agree. All right, moving on. Let's just hit the movies that are coming out this weekend. I know one of which Niki's been trying to wrangle everybody to get to watch together, that being Equalizer 2. I don't know if everybody here has seen Equalizer 1, but it's basically Denzel Washington walking around and just beating ass 24/7.
It's a really good movie.
It's calculated.
Oh, it is. It is.
Calculated ass beatery.
I love it. I love it. It's in my collection right now, and it's an awesome movie, and I'm excited to see the second one, which comes out this weekend. And maybe we'll get together. Hopefully, if not afterwards, we'll be able to recap it in the next podcast. But I am going to check it out probably this week. Some other movies that are coming out that I probably will not be checking out. Mamma Mia 2. Here we go again. Anybody going to see that one?
What is I don't even know that's a thing. What's one?
It's the musical where it's like Mamma Mia.
It was a big deal when it came out. I remember that. I never watched it, but I know it was a big deal.
Here we go again. No, nobody. Okay. Anyway,
it's a chick flick.
Yeah, it's a musical with the cast looks pretty incredible. They have a lot of names, but not a lot of people that is going to draw.
I mean, the undying song "Mamma Mia" by ABBA is etched in my memory, but the movie series not so much.
Yeah, well, Cher's in it, so that's cool. Anyway, moving on. Unfriended, the dark web. Really cashing in on that.
Oh, is that movie with that Asian dude and his daughter goes missing?
Oh, no. That's a different one, which is funny because they're both coming out around the same time, but they have the similar concepts. But it's basically the horror movie. I'm going to describe it, and it's going to sound exactly like the movie you're thinking of, but it's not. It's the horror movie that's based online, and it's they find a laptop, and it's got basically who the owner of it's going to come back and get it, but it's mostly shot through the computer. But they're really cashing on the hot term of the week, which is the dark web. I hate when people say that. I don't know. Every security software is hide yourself away from the dark web. We can protect you from everything bad on the dark web.
What?
You never heard about
People don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
you don't get protected from the dark web. The dark web doesn't want you on it.
Exactly. You don't just stumble into the dark web. And, you know what I mean? It's like
Google dark web and get it.
I didn't want to buy any RPGs. What is this? Like, you know what I mean? I don't understand. It's weird, but that's the term that's going around, and honestly, it's probably going to get a lot of parents who don't really know how to work the internet, and they're going to be like, the dark web, that's scary, because it is scary to old people.
The dark web got my daughter. Sucked her in.
Oh, all right. That's all I've got for the entertainment. We can move on now to the gaming category. And to start it off, I just wanted to hit it. Niki and I have been playing it. You can do it co-op. It's on PS Plus on the PlayStation for free this month, I think till through the end of the month or the first week of August. But it's called Absolver. And I don't know if you guys have downloaded it. You should if you haven't already. It's free. Just add it to your catalog. But it's a pretty sweet. It's minimalist looking, but it's a pretty sweet little game.
What is it?
You just basically create a character, 3 different fighting styles, and you can go out on your own.
1 of 3.
Yeah, 1 of 3 different fighting styles, and you pick one, create your character, and you're just kind of thrust into this world where you run around, and it's got an open world feel. There's like a map you can run around, so it's not like a Mortal Kombat game where you're fighting one-on-one and that's the end. You can team up with people, you can just run around, and the fighting, I don't know how they described it. It's on the Unreal Engine, but it's the fighting style. They took a lot of like detail and put it into just the fighting alone. There's not a lot of good graphics, but the fighting is good. I'll give it that, if anything. Niki, what do you have to say about it?
If you're like, all right, to explain it, like there's not so much a map. There's like certain little checkpoint areas, and it shows kind of where you are, and you have like a certain boss or something to get in that area. As far as the fighting, it's like so many combinations of different styles. You can make yourself like a little fighting deck, certain moves and combinations. You can't button mash because if you do, you kind of get penalized for it, and you kind of like get your ass beat. But the more you fight, the more you learn. So like if you like certain things, like if you can block things and you're watching other people's fighting, if you've never encountered it before, if you see that certain move happen a certain amount of time, eventually you can learn it and add it to your deck. Game of just fighting and just doing awesome like melee things.
It looks kind of like it looks like a knockoff of For Honor, except for maybe
close.
Customization is a little bit better.
Like what, 3 types of people you could be? And
3 archetypes.
And they had the same thing.
This has both weapons and hand-to-hand combat. It looks like, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, you can
so
just
see,
pick up
like,
a
guy with
sword.
different style, whatever. You can watch him, you can fight him, and like I guess technically you could spam it and just not actually beat him, but learn his moves over time, and then eventually add it to your deck and beat other people.
It looks like everybody's kind of a kung fu master, basically.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
No, for a free game on PS Plus, I was surprised. Not a lot of those games are great. I think
Is it
this
still
one,
on PS Plus?
Yeah, it's going on. I believe they always kind of overlap it into the next month, but it's this month's PS Plus game for July. But I think it kind of goes a little bit into August, so probably you have till like the first week of August to download it, or at least claim it, and so you can download it later. But it's a pretty sweet little game, and you can co-op up to 3 people. So you can have a group of 3, and if you have a group of 3, you basically beat the game because you can go around and just beat people senseless. It's pretty funny. But that's
where's Lynch at? He's still doing his chores.
Yeah, Lynch is doing the dishes currently. But I'm sure he will come back for this. Is anybody still playing Pokemon Go?
I am.
No,
I am not. I don't even have the app anymore.
Oh my gosh. Here's the thing. I could never bring myself to delete it because I don't know what it was about that game. It seeing what it did to people, just random people in the outside world for that summer. Was it 2 years ago? Maybe 3 years ago at this point.
It was 2 years ago. I'll never forget. 2016.
I miss that game every day. Those were like the best times. Like no matter what, nobody wanted to go home and stay lazy. Everyone wanted to go home. Go out, hit like maybe one of those famous spots, hit the beach or whatever, just run down one of these points in your city. People out just walking around, social. Hey, do you see that Pokemon over there? It was as social as hell, and everyone was out and happy, and it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
It was a good time.
I went home this past weekend, and I was talking to my mom, and she's like, "Oh, Squirtle's your favorite Pokemon, right?" I was like, yeah, what's going on?" She's like, "Oh, they just did this event on Pokemon Go where the Squirtles had like the Squirtle Squad sunglasses.
Yeah.
So I caught you some so that we can trade." My mom, A, they added trading, but B, my mom, who I never would have thought in a million years I could connect with her over Pokemon. she caught me Pokemon to trade with me, and I just think it's the reach that Pokemon Go has is really incredible in terms of reaching categories of players that they never would have gotten on classic consoles.
Yeah, and people who say that Pokemon Go is dead just because they don't play it anymore, that's a lie. It's still one of the biggest mobile games that's going on currently. At the time, it has to be the biggest of all time. I'm pretty sure it was when it initially released. But the player base was so unreal in the beginning, unfathomable numbers of players that like you'd look around, you'd be outside and you'd look around and you'd look them in the eye and you'd know exactly what they're doing. Like you know damn well what's going on when you're playing Pokemon Go. So it's like everybody's kind of like looking around like, hey, come over here. There's like, a Bulbasaur. You know what I mean? It was the coolest thing. But obviously the player base has dropped considerably, but it's still a just an absolute beast. And I went back, and if anybody was playing it in the original days and hasn't checked it out recently, re-download it, log back in. They're like incentivizing you now. You can now add friends, you can send gifts, you can trade, like
There's
JJ
quests.
said. Yeah, there's quests. It's pretty cool. And they added there's so many more Pokemon too. It's still fun. And Nintendo's doing a great thing where they're incorporating that into their new Nintendo Switch game called Pokemon Let's Go, and it's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee, which I certainly will be picking up. JJ, did you say you already pre-ordered it?
Yes, I pre-ordered the Pokemon Let's Go Eevee with the Pokeball accessory. Watching the first trailer, I wasn't really sure. The second trailer is a lot more telling. This really appears to be a remake of the original Pokemon Red and Blue game, the Kanto territory. You go through, you battle trainers, you meet the gym leaders. There's all sorts of stuff, just like the original games, but they've added this component where you can connect with your Pokemon Go account. They added something called the Pokemon Go Park, where I imagine the Pokemon Go Park, where I think it's their function for importing your Pokemon Go Pokemon to Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah.
It also seems that they have kind of shifted away from the traditional way that you encounter wild Pokemon in the grass of the old Pokemon games. They've added this similar kind of like AR mode where you use the Joy-Cons or the Pokeball accessory to catch wild Pokemon, and then you train them against the trainers or other players of Pokemon Let's Go. The other big thing that the trailer revealed was the ability to have co-op play while you're together with your friends on the Pokemon Switch.
Yeah, I saw that too. That the fact that two people can play on the same screen, I think that's pretty sweet. That's a great idea. Because it is like when you're playing Pokemon, you're usually playing it with nobody else around you because it's like you're just doing your own thing. So it's a pretty cool feature, and it is like you said. It looks like a remake of the original, but it looks amazing. Like it looks like
oh yeah.
As a kid, if you'd have seen this, like this is what you would imagine this world when you're playing it on the little 2D screen walking around. Like that's what you'd imagine what it looked like, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm excited for it for sure.
Wait, so what kind of console is this on?
Nintendo
This is the
Switch.
Pokemon's Nintendo Switch.
What is
But
what is that? What's a
I'm pretty
Switch?
It's
Wait,
the newest
what?
Nintendo console.
You don't know what a Nintendo Switch is?
I have no idea what a Nintendo Switch is.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh,
Reggie
my
Bastien.
goodness.
Hey, what was the last gaming console you owned? You're not a super gamer, but what was the last one you owned?
The last one I owned was the Xbox 360.
Ah, all right. That's a classic.
Yeah, I mean, I messed with the 360, but I just haven't. I don't know. I just don't have the time. I have the time, but I don't like playing video games. I feel like I'm wasting time by playing.
I honestly,
you know what I mean?
I don't know if Pokemon Let's Go will be available via mobile. It's possible that it will be.
Yeah, if that's like a phone app, I'm all for it.
Well, Pokemon Go is, so download that sucker again and keep playing because it's
Should I?
it's pretty. I would just give it a
Yes,
shot.
for
At least
sure.
just pop it open and see what's around you right now, and just be amazed that you're seeing. I don't know. It's maybe not amazing, but I thought it was a lot better than what they initially started with. It does still suck that you can't battle other people. Just spontaneously say, "Hey, I want to fight you." But maybe someday they'll get there. I don't know. Who knows?
I just don't want to play alone.
Well, don't play
I'm
alone.
afraid.
Make some friends, you loser.
Pokemon Go, it's still a thing, huh?
It is. It's
Pokemon
cool.
Go.
I still have it on my phone. I never deleted it, and occasionally I would open it up, and more frequently so I have. So I mean, to me, it's still fun.
And for you chunkers out there, we'll share our friend codes. If you guys want to send us gifts, we'll send you gifts.
Yeah, I'll send
Well,
you ours if you send us yours. You know what I'm saying?
And we got to build those friendship levels.
Yeah.
5-star friendship levels.
Absolutely, I agree. And the last thing I have
I'm
here,
down with Pokemon Go.
are you down for Madden? When was the last time you played a game of Madden?
I hate Madden.
A few months ago.
Oh yeah, that's true. I did have last year's Madden, and I obviously Madden and 2K I've been getting pretty consistently. I can't not live without it for some reason. It's just they're fun games. I wish they'd just make one every 3 years, so I don't have to keep buying it. But hey, they have me, so I can't really do it. The Madden cover athlete this year is Antonio Brown from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ever heard of him?
Business is booming.
It's Antonio Brown.
Yeah,
It's
Antonio.
Business is
Antonio.
booming.
He deserves it. I mean, he's got half a quarterback behind the line, and he still manages to catch
I
many
think
passes.
Antonio Brown might be the best of all time.
He very well could
Best
be.
wide
Hot take.
receiver.
Hot take.
His like 4 or 5 year span is probably the best.
I don't disagree with you. If you look at his stats, I mean, people will brush it off, but if anybody's a fantasy football player, they know what his worth is. But just looking at his stats like you said over the last few years, it's unreal the role he's on, and his average over like the last few years, like over the last 5 years, is one of the best stat lines you'll ever see in the history of football. Like he's a beast for sure.
I also feel that their whole rules that they're putting in against the defense is just making the NFL more offensive friendly.
Of course.
That is true too. That's true.
Stats are going to be stacking up now, and just I don't know, it's just getting too easy for them.
He
He's
is
phenomenal.
an
I'm not taking away
amazing
from him.
receiver. He is an amazing receiver.
On the Hall of Fame edition, though, for Madden, Terrell Owens in a Cowboys jersey. I know he had kind of been a little journeyman for a while, but they did put him in a Cowboy jersey, on the Hall of Fame edition as he is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Well, tentatively, I don't even know anymore because he said he was going to spurn them by not going.
I love T.O.
Oh, T.O.
That was definitely one of my favorite wide receivers of all time.
I was more of a Ocho Cinco myself. Chad Johnson, I was much more happy with him than I was with Terrell Owens, but that's just me personally.
When they were both in the league, I loved every second of it. People hated their celebrations. I loved every second of it.
To me, T.O. always came off a little, like he, just a little too extra to me. I don't know. He rubbed me the wrong way. I wasn't really a fan.
If he was in the Packers, though, you'd love him.
No, I honestly wouldn't have.
T.O. in his prime, you wouldn't want him in the Packers?
He'd be a really good player, but I'd be like, dude, this dude needs to just shut up and play some football. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's not even that he was like he would talk, but he just was talking for the sake of talking. He didn't have like a meaning. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was weird.
The Packers don't need wide receivers. They need linemen.
Oh yeah, we do. We need some offensive linemen, please.
They need some big boys that'll protect their boy.
If I could just get another healthy season of Aaron Rodgers, I'd be happy. Which, by the way, he says he wants to play until he's 40, so I'd be happy.
He's getting old, too.
Aaron Rodgers is just pretending he's a WWE wrestler every time he throws a touchdown. That's okay with you.
Dude, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I've ever seen play in my entire life.
I think that's a topic for another day, for sure.
Is that a hot take?
That's just a Packers bias.
No, is it a hot take? If that's a hot take, then I don't know what's going on. Aaron Rodgers, if anybody's ever seen Aaron Rodgers,
put it on the list.
He is pretty
He's a
good,
Packers
though.
fan saying a Packers quarterback is the best he's seen.
I know
we're gonna have to put that on the list for the NFL episode that we do for the NFL.
Yeah,
I'm not
For
going to waste
fantasy
any
draft?
more time than this.
Fantasy
on it.
draft.
I'm not going to have enough.
I think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback to ever play, like, the position.
Here we go.
Maybe not the most accomplished, not the most rings, but talent, skill-wise, as a quarterback, probably the best.
Yeah, Niki, I don't know why you think this is so blasphemous, but I would like to. I would like to have the conversation with you. Who bring somebody else to the table? Tell me who else do you think is a better all-around quarterback?
It makes me so sad, but I think Tom Brady is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers.
I hate Tom Brady with a passion, but my God, you can't deny what the hell you've seen.
Yeah, Tom Brady is pretty.
Tom Brady's not even that good. I mean,
Okay, all right,
he's
wait.
good. He's not good as Aaron Rodgers. He's got the best coach of all time.
He's not like Boston circle jerk great, but like
He's really good.
from an objective point of view, I think he's a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers.
Based off what?
Outside
Not
of
on
this
numbers.
conversation, I'll always tell you I hate Tom Brady.
He's super duper
nothing.
clutch.
But I'm not gonna
He's got
deny
all
the
the
fact that he's one of the
wins.
best to ever do it.
Tom Brady is one of the best to ever do it. He's not physically as gifted as Aaron Rodgers.
I agree with
Yeah,
that. That's
but-
it.
Best to do it.
We got a better coach, better system, better organization.
Aaron Rodgers
That's
is good at what he
tough.
does. He's not one of the
That's
best the league has ever seen.
Oh,
That
my goodness.
You cannot do that.
I
He's the best
I
ever.
very
I think Aaron Rodgers is definitely up there, but I
20 maybe.
I've seen Tom Brady do it, get away with it too many times.
I agree with you. Hold
Throw
on.
that.
Nikki just
throw
said
that-
Tom Brady got outplayed by Eli Manning in 2 Super Bowls. Eli Manning.
He didn't get outplayed. I mean,
Kinda.
The
Eli Manning. Eli.
Okay.
Eli I think is super underrated as a quarterback. I think Tony Romo was underrated as a quarterback.
Oh,
Preach, preach, preach.
But I just, as a Jets fan, I've seen Tom Brady make those passes that literally no other quarterback could possibly make so many times.
Yeah, versus the Jets, though. I know I could do that. I could do that.
No, not versus the Jets, versus the Jags, versus
Listen,
all
Tom Brady's
sorts of
good. He's
teams.
amazing. He's amazing. He can do such amazing
think
stuff. He's MVPs, but he's not Aaron Rodgers.
I think he's better than Aaron Rodgers.
I think he's got the better
I don't know why
career.
we're having a debate.
No, I know we shouldn't be doing this right now, but I will tell you, I look at. I mean, obviously you could check the stats over and over again, but I'm just saying if you watch them play, they're totally different. They're different creatures. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like Aaron Rodgers can bail you out in any way possible. You're not going to see Tom Brady just scramble or outrun somebody and then throw a crossbody 60-yard bomb for a touchdown. He's just not going to do it. He'll drop back in the pocket and kill you from the
it's true.
pocket.
But like
do something like that.
I'll give Aaron Rodgers this. He's not had the person Brady has had, and he hasn't had the coaching that Brady has had. So
Yeah,
there's that.
unfortunately,
It's
the
taken
Packers.
into consideration.
The Packers organization has been, and then they did it with Favre too, but they kind of just rest on the fact that they got an all-time great quarterback, and that's enough. They don't really do a lot of big splash moves to make their team better. They draft pretty well, I'll give them that, but you gotta surround this dude. I mean, it's sad that he's only got one ring, to be honest.
They got Jimmy Graham now.
He deserves more.
Get out of here. Jimmy becomes a bum.
Perhaps a different green team that'll treat him better.
All right. Well, we've come full circle. We started sports, and I guess we're ending sports. I probably should have moved the Madden up into sports, but
Are we out?
we should probably wrap this one up. Yes, I think we are out. We've gone over 50 minutes, and it's been nothing but high-quality, hard-hitting content. But if you want to follow us, please give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and you can like us on the old Facebook page. You're going to get some original content. Specifically, I know that JJ threw up a nice article about his favorite web-based game, Torn City, which Niki was asking about, by the way. He was very curious about it. He was intrigued.
I'll have to show you the way.
He'll show you the way of Torn City. Can you link up on that game and actually play with each other?
Oh, yes.
Okay, all right. You guys can talk off the air about that.
Not only that, but I can give you free stuff because I'm pretty rich in the game.
He's pretty filthy rich in his digital life.
I'm glad he clarified.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, and also we're going to be on the lookout because we're actually planning our first chunk giveaway, and it may or may not be a brand new, fresh release video game for a current generation console. That's about as vague as I can be. Giveaways are going to be coming soon to all the chunkers out there. We'll obviously make you go through some sort of hoop where we forcibly make you like or follow us on social media, because that's the whole point of giveaways anyway, right? Not your happiness. All right, we got to get out of here. I'm drunk. So that'll do it. Obviously, Lynch is gone. He's probably doing his dishes by now. Niki, Regi, JJ, thank you guys for coming, and we'll catch you guys next week on the Chunk Podcast.